I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'd like to first introduce Barbara Stanford Allen, who is a consultant with the trades with Philadelphia Works, and also Don Thomas Hayward, who is the outreach and communication managers also with Philadelphia Works. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you both to begin.
Good evening, everyone. As Jenny said, my name is Barbara Stanford Allen, and I am currently working as a consultant to Philadelphia Works, but specifically consulting in and around the Industry Partnership Program. And so Dawn and I are going to be speaking to you this evening about 3 successful elements that we have found for recruiting for our manufacturing boot camp.
So I am Dawn Thomas Hayward, and I am the outreach and communications manager at Philadelphia Works, and I work very closely with Barbara, all things communications related for Workforce Board Initiative, especially when it comes to her leadership in the industry partnership Septa.
Okay. So for those of you who may not be familiar with the Industry Partnership Program, industry partnerships bring together businesses in the same industry to work together to build a stronger, more competitive industry. And they do this through a number of things, primarily through training, networking, recruitment, and collaboration to raise not only the careers, but also the industry awareness. Our employer partnership was formed in 2007. We've been working together as a team for over 13 years. And one of the things that our partnership quickly identified, in addition to some others, was the need for talent. No matter what they produced, how they produced it, they all had a need to find qualified talent. And no matter what recruitment strategies they were employing, at some point in time, they always found themselves up against the wall. And it kind of became an impediment to, I'd say, for them taking on additional businesses. Basically, you had employers who were in a holding pattern where they were afraid to take on new work because they were fearful that they would not meet some of those production deadlines that they needed to meet.
Thanks for that, Barbara. And Philadelphia Works. So I'm not sure how many people on the line are familiar with Philadelphia Works. We are Philadelphia's local workforce development board. We help our stakeholders with talent recruitment, with workforce insights, and with business solutions. So in terms of talent recruitment, we help employers have access to free talent recruitment through the Pennsylvania PA CareerLink Philadelphia system, which we fund and manage. There, they can access an online candidate pool. They can also post free listings of job openings for attend hiring events, and they can also pre-screen job candidates for open positions. We offer data and insights for employers. So if you need to know what's going on in the labor market, we offer analytical research. We connect you as an employer or businesses to various resources and help with build cross-sector relationships within workforce and within our city. And we also really help with innovation and pilot programs, which is sort of how WINC and Philadelphia Works are connected. It's part of our innovation. It's in our innovation center where we do the work that WINC requires to spread the word about women in non-traditional relationships. And finally, for employers, for businesses, we help employers stay competitive in today's market industry by learning how pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeships work, supporting their pipeline development, joining industry partnerships. SETMA is one of our most robust industry partnerships. We also have an hospitality and entertainment industry partnership, but SETMA has by far set the standard for industry partnerships in terms of advanced manufacturing, and also we help businesses leverage available workforce resources. So that's Philadelphia Works. And if you go to the community uh, tab in your Hoover app, you'll see this PowerPoint slide where all the links are clickable.
So, as I mentioned, when we first formed this industry partnership, it became very clear that resourcing and sourcing qualified talent was a big issue for our manufacturers. They had employed a number of recruitment strategies themselves. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. But basically, it became very clear to us that what they needed to do and what they wanted to do was to be able to develop a manufacturing pipeline. Over and over again, the sentiment that we heard was that we can do the training, and I'm sure any of you who are involved in any industry, it's something that's a sentiment that we hear echoed over and over again from our employers, but particularly in the manufacturing industry where skills training is so unique to whatever is being produced. For them, the problem was being able to find, first and foremost, an individual who came to work and had a thorough understanding of what manufacturing was. Secondly, who was able to work as part of a team and had the right work ethic and would fit into their individual employment and their in place of employment as a member of the team and fit into their culture. And so what they said to us was that it's not the skills that we need, although they are critical and we're not dismissing them. First and foremost for us is just being able to find the right candidate. And so we put them to the test and we asked them, if we were to design a program, what are some of the key elements and things that you would need to have in it? And as a result of that, we worked with an organization, Educational Data Systems, and we worked hand in glove with them to create basically, I would like to call it a pre-apprenticeship program, and we're hoping to develop that into that. But really and truly what this was an awareness program. It was a program that would provide individuals who were interested in being involved in the manufacturing industry with a thorough overview of what the program was. It would have employer involvement where they agreed to participate in this program and be active participants and share information with our trainees about what that was. And that they also made a commitment that if we included the elements that they said that they needed or were crucial to being a part of that training program, they made a commitment to not only to interview, but to hire the individuals who graduated from that program. And so that's what we did. We started the manufacturing boot camp was designed in 2017. And we worked with EDSI. We had employer input from our manufacturing partners, and we were able to develop a curriculum that was basically geared to what their needs were. We have managed to graduate 3 cohorts. The first cohort was just a strictly career awareness program. In cohorts number 2 and 3, we worked with WINC to kind of incorporate and redesign the curriculum to include a gender lens so that we would be able to target more women to be involved in the manufacturing industry as well. And so cohorts 2 and 3, we were able to recruit 10% of the program was women. And out of that 10%, we were actually able to graduate 4 of those individuals. We used a number of strategies in terms of trying to be able to develop this program and to be able to recruit this program. And I'm going to turn it over to Dawn because, as she said, we worked hand in glove to kind of put together a targeted outreach and recruitment program that would allow us to be able to capture the individuals that would be good fits for this program. Dawn?
Yes. So just like Barbara said, we came together and we said, how do we, really, really recruit women for this program? So outreach is an important part of the recruitment process for any initiative. And while the words used in an outreach campaign can be gender neutral, if you're recruiting females, the images should directly speak to the interested audience you're intended to target. So in this case, it was females, of course. I mean, like my dad used to say, one has to see it to be it. And while I know that statement isn't completely true, it does help to see oneself in a campaign that is intentionally targeting you for engagement. At the very least, images should be inclusive when you're recruiting. They should be inviting. They should be non-discouraging to female prospects. Standing up pictures of women actively, not passively, working in industry, especially when recruiting for non-traditional careers, is important. We've all seen those photos. I think yesterday, one of our speakers, I think it was Michelle, showed a photo of a really, really provocative woman in a construction hat standing on a work site, not actually doing the work. That sends a false message and it can be offensive to people you're trying to recruit for these jobs. Real images of women working in their field are the most impactful, and it's hard to find stock images that don't look staged or fake. But what WINC is very intentional about doing is using real women operating in their trade, which has been impactful for us when recruiting for the boot camp. And you know, in the end, just be sure your outreach makes sense for your goals and your desired outcomes, and make sure that you are representing uh, the audience you're targeting well. And in this case, it's women. Then we can go to the next slide. We also didn't let things you know um, perfect get in the way of the greater good. I'm not sure if we have time to view this video, but we did launch a targeted outreach campaign to directly recruit women for the boot camp, and that was a very successful social media campaign that we did. And of course, Barbara, I'm going to just hand it back over to you to talk again, just to drive home the outcomes of our engagement and our recruitment strategies.
The one thing that I do want to emphasize with this is, and what Dawn says, is that I don't want to make it give the appearance that this was perfect, that we started it and everything came off without any hiccups. It did not. One of the things we found out very quickly is that we need to allot enough time to do recruitment, whether that's a targeted recruitment. You need to, especially because in recruiting women and just trying to find the right fit for those individuals who want to go into manufacturing, it takes some time. It takes some time for us to thoroughly explain the program for them. There was an orientation program with the program. And so we wanted to make sure that we were doing everything on our part to be able to kind of help those individuals. We also found out some other things too. Working with the partnership, this was a pilot program, but our employers were all on board. And so they were really ready to put their money where their mouth was. So we were able to do some things that we had never really done before with respect to recruitment. As Dawn said, we were able to launch a very successful social media campaign. And for some of our staff, that meant educating them on what social media tools were available. We were very fortunate to have Dawn, who had used some of these tools and who could work them for us. But I also want to stress that when we were doing this recruitment, our partnership is regional. And so one cohort we did in Philadelphia, another cohort we did in Montgomery County, another one we did in Philadelphia on the Bucks County line. So we were trying to make sure that we were casting a wide net, that we could kind of get everybody to be able to participate, because if our employers, one of the things they said was that, you know, if you're going to run this program, you got to make it be eligible for all of the employers. So as I said, basically we ran 3 cohorts that had about 20 individuals each. In total, we graduated 61 individuals successfully graduated from the program. And of those, 6 of those were women. We had an 80% placement rate with an average starting wage of $14.47. And of those 6 women who graduated, 4 of them are still employed today. We are, with COVID coming, This year, it's kind of posed some challenges to the program, but we found a way to grow and expand the program this year. We're partnering with Drexel University. And in addition to the OSHA 10 certification that individuals will receive this year, they're going to be able to receive certification and Six Sigma Yellow Belt. And
Thank
that's
you,
it.
Barbara. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barbara and Dawn. And now I'd like to turn it over to Erin O'Brien Hoffman, who is a commercial paint instructor for DC 21 in the Finishing Trades Institute. And Erin will now present for approximately 10 minutes.
Hi. So I'm Erin O'Brien Hoffman, and I am the commercial paint instructor for District Council 21. And I'd like to think that I am quite passionate about this topic. So for recruitment and retention, some of the things that I do here at DC 21 is, you know, and some of these things were previously talked about, and I'll talk about, you know, the things that I do and maybe like a different spin that I have on it in the construction industry and the building trades. So we, you know, number one, it's very important that we create inclusive job listings. As women, we love an invitation, right? So we get invitations for birthday parties and baby showers and wedding showers, and it's very important that women be invited. And it's very important that in these invitations, like in our brochures or any type of things that we're putting on social media, that women see themselves as mentioned here before, and that they're not those, you know, stock images. I also believe that there in 2021 that there are different types of women, and that all of these women need to view themselves. You know what I mean? Sometimes I think that there can be a stereotype when it comes to the trades that a woman should be a tomboy or that she should be rough and gruff. And we know that this is just not the case. So we need real women, you know, with, you know, all different lengths of hair, different shapes, different sizes, to all be pictured in these images and in our, all of our social media. I think that is so, so important. I think it's also important that we reach out. And in reaching out, I mean that personally, I wear my painter's pants everywhere I go. So I'm in Wawa and I'm in Target and I have paint on my hands, and I stop to talk to anybody and anybody that, you know, wants to talk. And you would be surprised in how many people want to strike up a conversation because they're not sure why you have those pants on, or why you're wearing those boots, or why do you have paint on your hands, or are you painting your house? No, this is what I do for a living. And so those opportunities exist with the person that might be making your coffee, or someone that's making a sandwich, or with, sometimes I talk to little girls in the checkout line at Target because they're looking at me like, why is she wearing that? So I find all types of opportunities to engage women and talk about what I do and encourage women to join the building trades. Also, I think it is very important that we include women in the hiring process. So I think that, I can speak for myself. When I went through the hiring process over 15 years ago, I sat in an interview room at a big board table with all very large men, big guys. And it was very, very, very intimidating. And I remember being questioned over and over in my interview, can you carry a 5? Can you carry a 5? And finally, the gentleman who was asking me, he was such a large size man. I said to him, can you carry a 5? And the room everybody at that table was laughing. And I said, oh shit, I probably bombed this, right? But instead they said, do you got boots? I said, yeah. They said, put them by the door. So I think it is so important now that we have women in that room, you know what I mean? So that a girl coming in for an interview can envision herself that A, women are here, and B, that there's opportunities for growth here because there's a woman in some type of a management position that's sitting here at this table, you know? And if I'm talking too fast too, please let me know, because I have a tendency to be a fast talker. I'm not as eloquent as the last group of girls that just spoke. Also, I think it is very important that we look for what I like to call like untapped potential. So we might have girls that are leaning towards, you know, something else. Like we have girls in our apprenticeship program that have degrees in Spanish, or that were going to school to be a veterinarian. But some of these girls, some of these girls, they really, had like leadership qualities to them that really transferred well to the building trades. And they just were totally unaware of the opportunities that existed here. So I sometimes think that when it comes, at least to the building trades, I know that there's a big tendency, especially like with the high schools that we deal with and different places where we go for recruitment, where people have this stereotype that the building trades is for this small group of students that maybe isn't doing so well in school. And while they may very much succeed in the building trades is also for guys and girls who are doing very well in school and who, have a lot of leadership qualities and definitely have a spot where they are an asset, to the trades. I also think that it is very important that we provide networking and support opportunities for young ladies. So at DC 21 and at our International Union of Painters and Allied Trades, we have an international women's committee, and then we also have local women's committees where all of our trades, we meet. More recently, we just went to Hanover on a bus, and we all were in the virtual Women's Builds Nations conference together. We are still in the infancy stages of our women's committee in full, speed because of COVID. But this is definitely something that happens. So, again, I'll keep it real simple for me. Being a tradeswoman, I had one girl who was an ally of mine in the trades, and we would call each other every day on the way home from work and on the way to work. And we had to like vent to each other because we both had things that would happen at work. Some of them were serious things, some of them were stupid, like that we had to find a new way to figure out how to do something, because we had to lift something with our legs, or maybe somebody mixed two colors of paint or whatever, but we had to have that support system with each other so that we could make it through. Because if I called one of my regular girlfriends on the phone, they had absolutely zero idea what I was talking about. They didn't know what a job site looked like. They didn't understand that I had to, run down 14 flights of steps to use a dirty porta potty. They didn't know what that looked like. So support systems are huge. A place where women can come to, a safe place where they could talk about, really, really serious things where they need somebody to go to bat for them, or where they can just talk about, the day-to-day goings on that sometimes you just really need to vent about. I also think that it's very important that women are offered challenging roles and opportunities for growth. And in saying that, what I mean by that is that women are treated equal. So don't let the girl come to the job site and think that don't treat her like she has to be coddled, like, oh, we'll carry this for you. We'll do this for you. Like, we can do our own things. And I think that's a big factor to a woman staying, is knowing that she's being treated equally. And opportunities for growth, knowing that, there's absolutely nothing wrong with, being a rank and file a painter, electrician, glazer, or carpenter. But knowing that if I want to, and I keep on, striving, if I want something else, that there's opportunities available to me, that maybe I could be a superintendent, or maybe I can be the roadman for my shop, or maybe I can be on staff at my union hall. I think that these are definitely things that are very important for the retention of women. Also, I think that it's very important that we fight stereotypes. There's definitely a stigma and a stereotype that exists for construction workers, and that's like, you hear the words like male dominant, or even some of the terminology that sometimes gets used, like rock star and this and that. And I think we have to get away from those terminologies. And I think that a lot of women are actually pleasantly surprised that when they get to our job sites, that there's a lot of male allies, and that they are easily accepted into the group, onto the team. I also think that so technology in the trades. So technology in the trades can go two ways, right? So technology is very much a good thing. However, technology has taken away a lot of our work in the building trades, because of technology, things are able to be done with less people and in faster amounts of times. And that's very good in a dollar and cents notion for our contractors and in the grand scheme of construction. But that can sometimes, not be the best thing for the worker, because maybe where you used to need 20 workers, now you only need 15. But with that being said, I do think that the use of technology is attractive to our younger, potential people that we want to recruit, and especially women who will be interested in this technology. Also, I think that it's very important that on a lot of our job sites that we continue to have, teams. So on a lot of our groups, like in a lot of our job sites, like, this group of people is working in the elevator shaft, and these people are doing the corridors, and being a woman likes to be a part of a team, and knowing that you're an integral part of that team, like knowing that, hey, they really need me, I really believe that aids in the retention of women, knowing that we're needed and that we're an integral part of the group. Also, organizing campaigns. So we have posted several video organizing campaigns on all social media platforms, and each and every one of those organizing videos include women. We recently have just made 3 of them, one for the painters, the drywall finishers, and the glazers. And they display real life women who are real life members, who talk about real life topics and what it means for them to be a member of our union. And I think that these are really great tools. Also, in realms of recruitment, I am involved in a lot of different, outlets. So I'm involved in my WIC camp, which is a part of NIWIC, which is the National Association of Women in Construction. And through this camp, we take girls grades 6 through 12 to a different Philadelphia building trades training center each day, sometimes 2 a day, depending upon, logistics. And then at the end of the week, it's ended with a job site tour, where the girls are able to see all of the trades that they went to visit in play. They get to see, the beginning, some of the floors that have only been roughed in, all the way up to the floors that have been, painted, and the final clean laborers have come through, and now that unit is ready to go. I also host a couple different types of all-girl cohorts where we bring in high school girls after school hours to our training center to do um, hands-on activities with our trades. They get to paint, do work with glass, they do drywall finishing, wallpaper hanging, and when they're done, they even get to leave us, with an OSHA 10. In addition, we also have our VIP program, which is the vocational internship program, where students grades 11 and 12 come to our facility, juniors on Tuesdays, seniors on Thursdays, and they come either for the fall semester or the spring semester, and they get to do hands-on skills with all of our trades. In addition, those students get OSHA 10, builder erector scaffold certification, CPR, and they leave us with filling out an application so that in turn, if they would like to join our trade, they can seamlessly and, with extra points. And if they want to go to a different trade that's not housed under our roof, we would write them, those letters of recommendation. And I see that I only have 1 more minute left, so I'll keep this short, but in efforts of recruitment, I visit high schools on a weekly basis. I find women from recovery houses, that are getting sober, that are looking for work. I find them to be some of the hardest workers. And I also have a background with that because I'm in recovery myself. And I see that we have a lot of women that from those places that do very well here. Facebook and Instagram, letting everyone that I know that I paint, and I can't canvas all areas, but in realms of the Northeast Philadelphia region, most people know me by my maiden name, and they know Erin O'Brien. If you're a girl and you want a job, and she'll help you out, give her a call. So my phone rings all the time. My husband never knows who's going to be showing up in our driveway, but I'm very passionate about bringing women into the building trades.
Wow, that's quite a few tips there, Erin. Well, I hope somebody was taking notes, but it's a good thing we were recording because lots and lots of great tips. So thank you so much, Erin. So let me start the slideshow here. I'm going to talk about the tradeswomen of Septa. A little bit about Septa. We have close to 10,000 employees. We are the 5th largest transit agency in the United States. We have more than a dozen collective bargaining agreements, and the largest of which is Transit Workers Union, TWU, Local 234. Prior to COVID, we were providing about 1 million trips a day to jobs and destinations throughout the region. And I also saw that 68% of all our new hires in the past 3 years have been female. Not a whole lot into the skilled trades, but certainly in other areas of our organization, if you look at a bus operator, you'll see many of them are women. So my background, just real briefly, is not in the skilled trades, but is in organization development, learning, and the performing arts. And I work to deliver various management and leadership programs. So in third grade, the librarian at my school picked up on my passion for equity and sent a letter home mentioning that she looked forward to seeing me in NOW meetings at some future point. So at the time, I had no idea what she was talking about, but she saw something at that point that I guess I've come to see myself. All right, so on to our next slide. Melody, who you saw in the panel, is pictured here. Just a little bit of a background. So the tradeswomen of Septa began as an idea in 2015. Before then, in the 1990s, Septa had already hired a number of tradeswomen through a program in the region called WINC, and this happened to be funded by the Women's Bureau Department of Labor. And both Melody and Vera, who are very active on the WINC, efforts, came through WINC and they're both railroad mechanics who work on our large commuter rail equipment. Tanya Hebron, who you see shown below with the big truck there, she's going to be talking a bit later. She's a construction equipment operator. Up here in the upper left is one of our signal maintainers on the regional rail. So she's the one who we rely on to make those bars come up and down so that we don't run over the tracks. And then in the lower right hand, we have Melody Gwen Gibson, who works on our city rail, our subway elevated Broad Street, Market Frankfurt lines. She's a first class equipment maintainer. So you're going to hear from her. Let me see. In 2015, I set out to interview each of the tradeswomen to understand their experience, what they needed, and how Septa could help. I learned a lot. And more importantly, because there was such a small number of women separated by trade and work location, with a very few knowing each other, it was clear that bringing everyone together in the same room to build a sisterhood, to share war stories, and to collectively establish a vision and priorities for moving forward was essential. So initially, our goal in forming the tradeswomen was fourfold. We wanted to understand the tradeswomen experience. We wanted to increase the number of women in the highly skilled trades. At that time was roughly about 35 women, and to impact the retention and career progression of our tradeswomen, and also to help tear down boundaries. So we had a lot of work to do. But as I said, we had women in the trades at Septa for a number of years, but I'm not sure there was any organized movement to really set priorities and direction. So 2015, we brought everybody together, did the interviews, identified some of the challenges. And then in 2016, we held a internal and external stakeholder event in which we brought in, all of our tradeswomen. We brought in city and state elected officials. We had our executive leadership. We had managers who were running the shops and managing our women. We had them all sit down together at the round table and have a conversation about what we needed to do, what were the issues, and what did we need to do going forward. We also started doing our Women Building Septa career events, and this was primarily for the public, women who were interested in pursuing careers. So our tradeswomen would have career tables right on site, and any member of the public could come up and talk to them about their careers at Septa. And then from 2016 to 2018, we continued to shine a light on the work of our skilled tradeswomen. We had a corporate-wide goal to increase the number of women. And some of us happened to discover Chicago Women in Trades and the annual conference that was happening. And so by 2018, it was clearly time for Chicago Women in the Trades to come to Septa and to infuse us with some best practices, if you will, and also to join efforts with the Philadelphia Workforce Board. We recognize the importance of having a women's equity and apprenticeship and employment center in the region, as they had been so successful across the US. So in 2019, WINC was born, and was quite exciting there. You can see some of the pictures here. The top picture in 2019 is the initial meeting we had, where Lauren Sugarman talked with the local stakeholders, and there was clearly a lot of interest and energy and an excitement about coming together. And so last year, 2020, we had our new general manager, and we reestablished our goals, and we were excited and ready to get going. And that was March 14th. And I think 2 days later, we all were home, or we were under COVID. So that has really impacted our ability to go forward. We were we have tried to bring the women together in virtual meetings, and that has proven to be quite difficult. And so Gwen, both Gwen and Tanya have stepped up, and we've been sort of figuring out how we're going to move forward. We're working with the assistant general manager and Colleen to put together smaller subcommittee work. We're excited about starting a mentoring program for women who come in as our cleaners. I think Melody talked about being a cleaner, and she thought it was much more exciting to become a mechanic. It pays much better. So we've got a number of women now in that entry level that we want to help encourage them and promote them into higher levels of the skilled trades. So there's a number of careers and options for anyone at Septa. But we have more and more women now also moving into management, which is important in terms of exposure and having more of a voice in terms of being decision makers at the table. And so just there's lots of different jobs. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Tanya Hebron, our first class construction equipment operator. And so it's Tanya. Let me stop sharing my screen. There we go. All right, Tanya, go for it.
Hello, everybody. That's okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Tell you a little bit about myself. I started from Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. I was a pipe fitter helper, WG5. We were put on the base closure back in '93. So I heard there were tests being offered to take for a couple Septa jobs. I took the test, passed. I was chosen for an interview for track general helper. Myself and two other females, we made history. We were the first females ever hired in the track department. From there, we made history again. We became track equipment operators. And then I saw we had dump trucks and construction equipment. I said, that's what I want to do. So I worked at night. I went to school during the day, worked at night. I did this for 5 months. I did it from April to August and kept my transfer up. And I came over to utilities between 99 and 2000. And I've been there ever since. And I was the only female, again, making history, only female again. And had some challenges, but I got through it. In 2015, that's when I met Jennifer Barrett. And she must have heard me talking about it, because I always wanted something that, a platform that women could have, a group, a sisterhood, where we could discuss our problems of improvements we wanted to see, wanted more women into the trades. And there was a lack of women in a lot of trades departments in the authority. So we got together and we became a family. Then we had an olive branch extended to us from Works and WINC. And it's just been a good journey ever since. I wouldn't trade it for anything. We have a lot of work to do, but I think we're on the right track. This is our second year for the Institute, which I think is a success. I just like to see a little more changes. I like to see the percentage of women in non-traditional careers. I like to see that number go up. 2% is very low. I would like to see a forum for bridging the gap of with communication between the female management and the male co-workers. I think communication lacks. When you have management and the male workers on one side, female on the other, it lacks communication. And I think there needs to be some kind of forum so everyone can get to know one another, understand what the other needs from the other, if that makes sense. I would also like to see more women in management. That lacks. So we have a ways to go, but so far I think we're doing very well. We're on the right track. Also, I think alongside with just doing the institute and getting together, I think we need to really, do the grind work, get in the communities, talk to women face to face, start work with kids, start them early because they're very impressionable when they're young. So I think we just need to continue to do that. Get in the communities, talk to the parents, talk to the pastors, and try to engage and get more women involved into the trades. And that's what I'm looking for.
Ton,
Yes. Jenny?
did you want to say a little bit more about your day-to-day experience or, I think you've shared your vision. Hi, Laura.
Hello.
I thought I just shared it. I thought I had 5 minutes and I was trying to keep it at 5 minutes.
So
Yes.
is everyone back? Is everyone back? Okay.
Yes.
So thank you all for participating in today's programming. I hope that you enjoyed your sessions as much as I did.